I'm Brent Leary.
I'm Paul Greenberg.
And if you didn't know, we are the CRM Playaz.
And once again, if you didn't know, shame on you.
Yeah, you really should know by now. If you've been here for any length of time over the last 2 years. And if you don't know, we know who you can ask.
There he is. Whoa, German. Uh, okay, hello, friend. The Rams fan, something, and I don't know the rest. Super Bowl.
I see Rams and Super Bowl. Oh, wait a minute. Now we have competing German going on
Oh
here.
my. Ich kam nach nicht rein zu doof.
Ein Berliner. That's what I was.
Ich kam nach nicht rein ein zu doof. Und gut ins neue Jahr gestört, Sven.
Okay. Now that's about three different interactions in German that we definitely will need some translation for. But I'll take the translation on what Christy said.
Okay, you guys.
There it is.
Christy.
We got it. Good to see some of the happy hour crew showing up.
I know. Getting ready for their own thing, too. Well, more later.
I think
Not today, though.
your idea of having a happy hour was maybe one of the best ideas in CRM Playaz history.
Which means we've had a grand total of one idea.
And we've been doing it since 2009.
Oh, look at that. There's the translation from Sven. That's a beauty.
Now that's
Sven.
nice.
That is a beauty.
Way better than yesterday's happy hour where Sven's background was a Patriots logo. So I'll take this instead.
Any translation from Ralph yet?
No.
Ralph, translate for us, please.
Please. We need. Oh, okay. No, that was Sven still.
Okay.
Anyway, so while that's the translation. I don't think that's
Yes,
the translation. I
Who's
think
flexible?
that's a comment. I don't know.
Where'd that even come from?
That was from. Well, I think because I was talking about Sven having the Patriots logo.
Oh.
And then today he's talking about the Rams. I'm guessing that's why Ralph is saying Sven is flexible.
Yes, he's flexible. Okay, thank you, sir. Oh, so that was a question to Sven.
Okay.
That's a nice thing too. Well, everybody's nice today.
I know. What's going on here?
And Christy's translating.
We got it all going right now.
Well, just Google Translate.
Yeah, right.
We'll do a show for Google Translate show.
So anyway, customer oriented. Okay. All right. So anyway, so it's a new year. And what's the tagline? Trying to bring CRM to its knees since 2009? Something like that?
2008.
2008? So the four-ish horsemen of the CRM Apocalypse, it's not, we have a reason why it's not quite four. But anyway, all the horsemen, whatever number it is, will be joining us shortly to keep trying to bring CRM to its knees in the new year of 2022.
And we're very excited about the opportunity.
We have to keep our lives' work progressing.
That's right. Right now, we think we have them to one knee, but the other one not yet.
Yeah. On bended knee. We need on bended knees.
That's right.
Something like that. So we will assemble the whole group. Almost feels like it's like what's that? The Lancelot and the round table.
The Knights of the Round Table.
Can horsemen have round tables?
They can sit at them if they're in a bar or a pub, excuse me. Oh, no. A tavern would be a tavern.
It's like the amigos as they enter the bar.
Oh,
is that Bob Fagel?
You mean, yeah,
Bob,
he's talking about.
Can you finally fix your security settings on LinkedIn so we can see your name. Well, if it is Bob, I'm assuming it's Bob. It might not be.
Wow. Now look at this. This one is that's
wait a minute.
Time. That's an infinite loop. We're now in.
Where is she? I mean, I see her in the comment section, but
that's what I mean.
Yeah. I'm sure we'll hear more from her.
Hopefully in a few minutes someday.
See, the horse lady just does not sound good. I'm sorry. We can't. That just does not. No, we can't do that. Oh, look, Christy is glad to see you upright.
Yeah, well, I'm basically, you don't see it, but I have literally 2 of Santa's elves holding my back up right now. Right back here.
Is it Harpo or Grout? Oh, wait a minute. Wrong group people.
No, that's actually who it is. It's Harpo and Chico.
Who's calling us venerable ones? It should be just one, no S on the end.
Why? I don't think you're that old.
Oh boy. Is there a comedian in the house, folks? No, there isn't. Oh, okay. Let's see. Just a couple of more. Thomas. Better than horse. Yeah. Horse woman is definitely better than horse lady, but I think we could just go with horseman. You guys know what we mean. Let's not get too PC here. We can't get too PC here because one of those horse persons is Digital Pestilence, and I do see him in the green room there.
Okay.
Now we're getting into the Rhineland. Wow.
Comedian.
Really something. I don't know what's going on. All right. So before we bring these folks out,
that was a hell of a conversation.
I know we're getting all over the place in that comment section here. But before we bring out and reassemble the Horsemen for another year, we had a couple of things. You know, we do our little intro shtick, and some of it is just not shtick. Got to make sure I'm saying shtick. Sometimes you can make a mistake when you try to say that word and it doesn't come out right. All right, so there were a couple of interesting earnings reports that came out. And before we bring out the group, because some of these folks have gone to the dark side and do represent vendors. So we can't have them on when we talk about other vendors, right? I mean, that wouldn't be right. Wouldn't be fair. All right. But I did want to at least, maybe give our takes on a couple of things that stood out in some of these earnings reports.
I'll follow your lead, sir.
Okay. So I'm going to pop this up. So Microsoft came out a couple of days ago, and you always know if the report was good. I'm thinking this is just from the financials because we don't really do that. But usually when somebody comes out with a report and it disappoints analysts, the stock price tanks like after hours. These two that we're going to show, they went up after hours. All right. So Microsoft, they had a pretty big quarter. I think that last quarter, 51 billion in revenues or something like that, just overall. Wow. That's amazing. Wow. It's a big number. And they like to break their reports down into, productivity and business, intelligent cloud, and more personal computing. That's interesting. Yeah. What the more?
I don't know.
Yeah, interesting stuff. All right. Let me move over to things that caught my attention. Okay. So this is just the intelligent cloud right here, which I think that was of the 3 categories they have. This is the biggest one in terms of revenue. 18 billion in a quarter for the intelligent cloud. And I think that's Azure. Yeah, that's the big piece of that, I think, is Azure. It's more than Azure. We like to look at that because we kind of compare that with Amazon's AWS. And as big as Azure is, it still grew like 29-30% year over year, which means there's no slowing down here with that. It might even mean, because we don't know how much of that 18 billion is Azure. They might have overtook AWS now. What do you think?
Well, I mean, I don't know for sure, but I know that I've read here and there that Azure is I think Bob Evans actually alluded to that last month, maybe.
He did, but I wasn't sure because I read somewhere else where AWS is still bigger. But now, who knows? Because I don't think.
Well, it's not, I can't say I'm surprised, really. Look, ultimately, Azure's always been aimed at business. And, let's put it this way.
Yes.
B2B results tend to be more than B2C results because B2C results are based on lots of individual consumers utilizing the services via someone's business or via someone's, activity. And B2B, these are big contracts with big companies doing big things, and they're recurring and they're growing all the time. Because I say one thing I know about both AWS and Azure: once you start with them, you'll never stop, right? Because there's so much more that you end up doing than you originally planned. And I've seen that in any discussion I've ever had about either of them, really, that we intended to use this piece, and by the end of it, it was this piece, this piece, this piece, this piece, this piece.
All right. So while the intelligent cloud category grew at 29%, as Thomas pointed out, and as this slide points out, Azure grew at 46%. So it's outgrowing whatever the other pieces of the intelligent cloud is. But look what Thomas is saying. AWS is still bigger. So it's probably very close at this point. It'll be interesting to see who's bigger in a couple of years.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
I'm kind of betting on Azure right now.
Microsoft's on a roll. I mean, right
Yeah,
now they're on a big roll here.
They are.
All right, the next one, Servicenow. They're on I think $6 billion run rate in revenue now.
Yep.
Last year, I think they pulled in, let's see if I can pull this out, 5.57. So they're still growing. What is that, 30% rate?
That's what they're saying.
They're going gangbusters too. And I think their stock price was up like 10% after this was announced. So everybody's pretty happy with that. But here's the thing I was interested in. Look at their customer relationships, the expansion number. They're getting ready to double their customer base in what, less than 3 years?
Yeah. 2 years and 1 quarter, basically.
Yeah. That's pretty
amazing.
good.
Well, I got to give this one to McDermott and his team, really. He's been very ambitious and, pushing forward with, the platform, the meta platform, basically the the platform of platforms, pushing forward with just what they do well, expanding really quickly and really well into the industries, building out a good solid, I want to say about a half a dozen really strong, big strategic alliances. In some cases, ones you think were odd, like ServiceNow and Adobe, but all of them are working. They have a very clear-cut strategy. They execute really well on the strategy. They've become a place that a lot of people want to work for. So they get a lot of our industry kind of the industry kind of luminary types who are leaving wherever they are and going over to ServiceNow. And they actually, I think another place, which is why I think their revenue grew a great deal, is about that time. I'd say it was actually right around the time that they're first noting a number, meaning the fourth quarter of 2019, they actually began moving the needle very strongly within the company around the idea that the service ops has a big impact on customer experience, as opposed to taking the purely mechanical operational back end view that they took more distinctly with ITSM. So I think that was a nodal point for them, and since that time they've just been gangbusters internally and externally on, pushing with that idea, that message, that vision, and that mission, and it seems to have had a real impact on, their success.
Right. Okay. Last part of this that I found interesting. So they're expanding their customer relationships. You're seeing how big it's going up. But another key point of this equation is look at that renewal rate. Can't get much better than that.
No.
I mean, it's like 97, 2021, Q2 2020. What happened? It tanked down to 97.
I know.
But
what
now
a bunch
it's back
of
up
failures.
to 99.
You failures. What's wrong with you people?
What went wrong?
Yeah. I mean, amazing. It is amazing.
Say, they're kicking on all cylinders there.
My nickname for them, I keep telling them, is, though, at this point, is I think you may be the world's largest unicorn.
I mean, that term unicorn, it's almost getting passe at this point. They got to come up with something new.
I don't know. You could say a horse. That's a unicorn anyway. World's largest horse. You're the world's largest horse.
Well, speaking of horses, well, I was going to segue that, but you have an announcement. So I want to bring this down and bring you back up to tell everybody what we're doing in February.
Okay. You want to bring something up first? You want me to just go?
Just go.
All right. So, as everyone knows, this year is, I think it's the 19th year of the watch list itself, meaning one of the winners are announced. It'll be the 19th time. You have to go back into history to understand that, because there was a prior award called the Steppin' Out Awards a long time ago. And I'm including that as the forerunner of this. So this will be 19. The coming year, 2022, 2023, will be the 20th, and it'll be the last year of the watch list. All right. So as you also know, historically, I've always announced the watch list in my ZDNet column, roughly mid-February, end of February, so I could get through all the submittals. This year, we had enough submittals to, let's say, I have 4,000 pages to read. I'm in the middle of them as best I can. I'm a little under the weather, as you can probably hear. So it's not been as easy as I like. But at the same time, I am getting through them. And I've also made it way, way harder than ever before to win. I mean, way harder. There's a possibility there'll be no winners. Let's say that. It's unlikely, but possible. I'm working toward none. Okay, that's my game plan. Try to be so tough there'll be no winners. So all that said, rather than announce on ZDNet this year, even though there will be a ZDNet post, we're going to do a CRM Playaz award show on February 24th. It's one of our special. It'll be on our regular time slot. Might run a little longer, so we might start a little earlier. We don't know yet, but we'll go through the details soon. But on February 24th, there will be a CRM Playaz Playaz Productions Network. CRM Playaz announces the 2020 watch list, CRM Watch List 2022 winners. So be prepared. We're going to make a big deal of it. Probably the following day, roughly, will be the ZDNet column with everything afterwards, too. But it's going to be a show this year, and it goes in line with all the polemics you've heard us waging for the last year about changes in how content is consumed. This year, you're going to consume it via our show rather than via digital print on ZDNet. So we're very excited, and might be a very short show if there are no winners. So,
and maybe, not sure, you may have to take this in and experience it in a way that you experience things like politics. Not going to give any more hints. Think politics. Sports too, maybe. Politics as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now that we got all that out of the way, I see all the horsemen in the green room. Do you want to introduce them one at a time?
I don't even think they need introductions at this point. My God. Like, Why should we? Just bring them on, man. Everybody knows who they are.
I can't
Right.
really call them guests.
No,
guests.
not at all.
You see them every now and again, maybe once a couple of years. These folks ain't guests. Let's bring them on. We'll do. I was gonna use a term that Ralph just said, but I don't want to say horse ladies first because that just sounds too terrible.
Oh my
We'll
God.
just. I know that just sounds awful.
So wrong.
So we're not doing that. But we are going to say hello to Ginger Conlon.
Hey.
Hello.
How you doing?
Good. You?
I am not well, but good.
He's on his way. Hopefully.
On my way back, though.
Let's say hello to Denis Pombriant.
Ah,
Dennis.
Mr. DP.
Hi, guys.
Welcome back.
There you
Feels
go.
like I never left.
Got to put a little bit more light on
Hi,
your
Ginger.
face so we can see you. There you go. And last, but certainly, no way could this person be least. He is the one and only Digital Pestilence, Esteban Kolsky.
Oh, Dennis, man, setting
Oh,
up
hey,
live.
sorry.
Which one?
How
Well,
you
no,
doing?
if that's Whistle Pig, right? Yeah, I knew
Farm
it.
stock rye.
There's
It's
literally
delicious.
nothing to be sorry about then.
Yeah. I was just gonna get ahead of the game here, but yeah, sorry. we'll wait. We'll wait.
You're pre-gaming.
Yes, Rob. This is what I said before. It's actually the proper term would be an Amazon. It's not a horsewoman, but it's an Amazon.
Okay.
I said that
Moving-
before.
So,
Yeah, whatever.
welcome to Esteban's tailgate.
Yeah. Thank you.
Dude, your sound quality is really good.
Mine?
Yeah.
Wow. Imagine
sound-
if I had something good. Awesome.
You sound very close.
Yay! I can't get the lighting done right in this new office.
Dennis fixed his lighting really quick with that ring light setup you did. That was really good. It worked really well.
Good.
Oh, look who's saying something
Prem.
here.
Oh,
Whoa.
wow.
Dude,
Whoa,
you don't-
buddy.
Come on, man. Pestilence would never go away. You know that.
All right.
It actually ennobles pestilence to drink.
That's right.
Can I just start off? I saw this today when I went to go check out Twitter. Let me see if I can part this out because I'm sure there'll be some opinions on this from.
Hey, by the way, Brent, while you do that, the last letter on your cap fell off. Should be a D. If you're gonna celebrate pigs, you should do it the right way, not like lar. It's like it's incomplete. It's larda with a D at the end. See, even the dog agrees with
Even
me,
the
dude.
dog didn't like that.
Wow. And there you have Republicans versus Democrats.
I didn't even have to say
even
anything.
the dog just one of you said even the dog disagrees
Agrees
with it. The
with
other
me.
one said even the dog agrees with it.
Yeah, because
Okay.
the dog agrees. It should be lard. Let's celebrate pigs properly.
Let's press on here. So this is what I saw when I
Oh
went to Twitter.
God. Oh God.
Are you
Seriously?
kidding?
Introducing
No.
NFT profile pictures on Twitter.
Yeah. Alexis Ohana, or whatever his name is, Serena's husband, has the first one that already paid for that, by the way.
You got to be kidding me, really?
No, he has. If you look him up, he has one already.
So can anybody explain why regular folks should try to do this?
No.
I'm not a regular
folks-
person, so no, I can't.
Regular people should try to do this. Listen, these oh my God.
So the reason for this, the way it was explained to me by both NFT and Twitter enthusiasts, is because Twitter wants to be seen as hip with the times, and NFT people want to display their NFTs as if it was like a badge of honor or a painting that you displayed in your living room.
It's actually incredibly ironic that their characterization of an NFT at the top there is a faceless person completely.
Hey, that's an NFT of a faceless man.
It's an NFT of Twitter's intelligence.
Is this a
Holy
new
God.
revenue stream for Twitter? Like, I
I don't think they charge for this actually.
I don't get this.
But you need
Well,
to prove
you know-
you need to prove ownership. You need to prove ownership of the NFT by providing the blockchain where it's like your ownership is established.
I've got to apologize to Dennis because usually when those 3 letters are mentioned on Gilmore Gang, he goes off camera. Sorry, Dennis. I just had to do this.
Well, there's a good reason to go off camera with these things.
The bottom line is like, let's bring it back to the show. This is Twitter's version of CX.
Yeah.
Oh.
Look, let me tell you, I think people, I mean, I've seen like ridiculous representations of this. There's a company that I ran across because, I picked up a lot of my childhood hobbies. I actually now, in part, I'm collecting stamps and coins again a bit, right? And it's been fun. So I literally went to buy a PDF of an album, like an actual album. And I go to the site and the PDF's available as a PDF for like $8 or something. And in the meantime, he said, but you can have the album pages as an NFT. And I'm going, what? So I decided I'd click on and follow through. I couldn't even figure out what the hell was the purpose of this. And it's interesting. What it did is each album that he sold a lot of these. He hand makes these albums and you download them and print them. Each album was an NFT on an actual exchange, a crypto exchange. Every album he just created as an NFT. And he has no rational argument for it at all. But he just went with it. And then I looked around a little because of that specific instance. And I found other people, not necessarily in the same, area, but in other places doing exactly that, right? Which is they're basically taking something which has no business even being, no business even as an attempted NFT, because nobody gives a crap whether you have unique individual ownership of it, and they're putting it out there as an NFT so that it's basically just a crypto money play for them.
The ownership is the only thing for NFTs. The only reason to exist is the ownership.
I know.
There was a. Did you see the video on TikTok and somebody saying, "Can you explain NFT to me?" It's like, yeah, some guy came up with the idea that he doesn't know what he's talking about and convinced somebody else to pay him for it.
Sounds like a good definition to me.
And I was like, that sounds about right. It's like, I don't know what this is, but if you want to pay me for it, I can actually get you digital ownership of it,
Sounds good to me. Matter of fact, Ratul Shah. So Paul and I will put together an NFT badge for you, and it'll only cost you $50,000.
What?
Actually, no. 5 Satoshis. 5 Satoshis.
I don't even know what that is.
Satoshi's a millionth of a Bitcoin. Come on, dude, get on with the times.
A millionth of a Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Whatever.
You realize how?
Sounds good.
I mean, I don't want to get into cryptocurrency either, but at that point, you realize when you actually have to talk about a millionth of a currency, it doesn't belong as a currency, right? So,
well, it's not a current. That's a whole.
This is not hyperinflation.
Let's focus on CX because we can go down that tangent and then
Yeah.
Leave that.
And quite honestly, when Prim starts bringing up when is NFT RM coming out, we're not doing a good enough job of bringing CRM to its knees if we're hearing people suggest that kind of thing.
An NFT RM. Oh my God!
Come on, let's demolish CX. It's an old thing. Nobody wants to do it anymore. Let's build a new one. Let's go.
Wait a minute. What's your title again?
Wait,
Digital
what?
pestilence. Digital pestilence.
Your day job title.
This is my day job, dude. The other one is a dream job. Pow!
Ooh, nice.
I kill salesperson. That one. My title is a chief evangelist for CX. And I'm telling you.
So you want to get rid of the thing you are the evangelist for.
That's the job of the evangelist, is to drive the vision for the next version. We can't get stuck on the same thing that everybody's trying to do wrong. Let's put something new.
That's an interesting topic right there. What's the next version? Well,
Well,
that's up to you guys.
Yes,
to
please. Esteban, please.
but first, as Esteban, you have to level set of like your definition of customer experience so that we can have a jumping off point to what the next thing is going to be.
Well, Paul, did you finish reading the the submission we did for the watch thing?
No,
Sorry.
it's alphabetical order.
Okay, it's in there, but basically, customer experience is a misnomer. It's an evolution from CRM where we actually realized that in CRM, the control was going to the company, right? And everything that was done was basically for the company. It was very operational driven. All we did was just focus on the operations, collect as much data as we could, and there was no value to the user. Then we said, but users, 2005 through 2010, have ownership of the conversation. Somebody wrote that in a blog post in 2009. I don't remember who. Control the conversation. And we had to actually address this control of the conversation. So let's turn things around 180 degrees and do everything to provide value to the customer, right? And the customer, that became like customer satisfaction versus operational efficiency. It became the alignment of like the power on the customer side, and we focus on incorporating things like customer data and commerce and other online tools, so we can actually turn CRM into something that went all the way to the other extreme. And like we usually do, we start the pendulum all the way to the left and then all the way to the right, and now we're actually coming back to the middle where we need to find a way to actually align both. The business outcomes and the customer expectations need to come together, and that's what CX is becoming. But the problem is the tools that we have to do that are not appropriate. So then that's where the next generation of CX comes along. Anybody?
Esteban, do you find that depending on who you're talking to is how they think about customer experience? Because I find that a lot if you're talking to someone in marketing versus someone in, say, customer service.
Yeah. But don't you think that that's wrong?
Yeah, I mean, the company should be aligned on what customer experience means to them as a company.
No, customer experience means the same to everybody. The company has a different implementation of it, but you can't have a different definition for everybody, right? So, and the problem is we have vendors and companies misaligned because from the customer, the company perspective, customer experience is about marketing, is about service, right? We can talk about VRM later, Prem. You're too far ahead. But it's about marketing, it's about service. From the customer perspective, I don't want to talk to marketing, I don't want to talk to service, I just want an experience, I want an interaction that is defined by me, not by the company. And the company is going wait. What about my control? What about my needs? What do I get out of this? And then that's where if you had a common definition, then that's when we can start getting aligned. And that's where we are. I mean, we swung way to the right, way to the left, and now we're trying to get to the middle to something that works. I'm sorry, I'll shut up. I haven't spoken about this with anybody recently, so I don't know anything about it.
I'm waiting for Denis to. I could see he's kind of pondering things.
Well, I'm just taking up the Brent Leary niche.
This is a
For folks who don't know what
references.
that means, so Gilmore Gang is on Fridays. Denis and I both are on Gilmore Gang, and I'm so kind of tired of talking by the time Gilmore Gang comes on a Friday afternoon. I tend to listen a lot. Kind of look, like this and listen. Then I usually get called out for it, like I'm calling Denis out right now.
There's a wonderful chestnut attributed to Abraham Lincoln who was supposed to have said, it's better to remain silent and be thought fool than to speak up and remove all doubt.
I thought that was what my mom used to say to me.
Yeah, well, the wisdom of mothers. Listen, let me play devil's advocate and say that CRM and CX is a bust, that it is overly catering to an overly entitled customer base and making a bunch of pricks out of us all. And
Hey,
wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be nice if customers put a little effort into finding and buying what they want rather than expecting everybody to kiss their asses?
actually, I think you're off on that, dude. As a customer, I don't expect anybody to kiss my ass, but I expect my needs to be fulfilled not by the company, but by the availability of whatever I need to get it done.
Right.
But I may be different, but I don't want to talk to anybody.
Well, I think that's kind of a, I think that's
Runs with me.
an idea that is not likely to happen, simply because there are more vendors chasing fewer buyers, and the result of that is that vendors turn themselves inside out
But
to try to satisfy needs that might not really be there.
okay,
So
so that's two parts. Sorry, go ahead, Ginger.
I was just going to say that, so you've got marketing who tries to make it easy for you to do everything. They're throwing emails at you and ads and we just want to make it so easy for you to buy our stuff all the time, right? And then, so that's your customer experience with marketing, whatever. Then you
Oh no.
you have service.
Marketing and you have customer experience. They're two different things. Let's not conflate
marketing
them.
is part of customer experience, whatever. Anyway, the point is then you go over to, there's supposed to be a consistent customer experience from a company, but then you go over to the customer service and like you have to do all the work often, right? So they don't make it as easy. They try to. Some companies do a great job of it and some don't. So you've got like these two opposing, marketing's got all the data, they're trying to make it so easy, and then you get to the service experience and sometimes it's great and sometimes not so much.
But you're stuck in an old model then, because in your model, the company has any control of the customer experience. And in reality, the customer determines their own experience every single time they interact with the company, and the company has no control whatsoever. You can build the absolute best. I mean, take it away from customer service like we do, right? Take it into any other experience. Let's say that you want to go to Machu Picchu, right? And I'm a tour provider and I build an experience for you because I'm going to charge you a lot more for it. And you're willing to pay more because it's an experience. So like there's like 6 parts of the trip. You fly there, you stay in a hotel, you go visit the ruins, you eat, you fly back, then I don't know, put one other one. You go home or something like that, right? Each one of the components of that experience, I cannot build them for you. I can give you suggestions. I can give you the ability to do it, but I cannot tell you, you're going to fly from LA to Peru, and you go like, but I live in Pennsylvania, and I'm like, oh, that's your problem, not mine, because, my experience starts in LA, so you have a problem then, right? Okay, and you're going to stay in this hotel that is like, in this region, and it's like in a very noisy, nice part of town, and you go like, well, I like quiet areas. Well, that's your problem, because the experience that I built has this hotel. And you're going to go see the ruins in the evening, and you're like, you want to go in the morning. Well, that's your problem, because, we say, so once you build an experience as a company, your experience becomes the static representation that you want as a company to control the customer to do. And that's not what the customer wants, then you're done. You're done at that point.
2 or 3 things.
But what about if it's a bad experience for someone from someone at the company? Like, what if I call and someone's rude, or what if I call and it's a 4-hour hold time, or
so the company didn't do a good job of preparing the infrastructure by training the people not to be rude and by answering quickly. But that's not part of the experience. That's a representation. The company's goal is to create this infrastructure so nobody's rude and the call is answered quickly. The rest of the stuff is like, the customer's perspective. What if the customer is coming from like recently getting fired, but everything's done exactly the way the company wants to do, but it really doesn't like, the customer doesn't see it that way. You're dealing with a lot of things, and when you talk about customer experience, you're dealing with a lot of things that are neither technology nor processes that you need to acknowledge for. And this is why we need a different model. We need to get away from the concept of like, we have marketing and we have service and we have this and we have that, and we're going to build the experience. Get away from all that. Build a whole different setup, and then let the experiences happen by the hand of the customer.
Well, that's actually, it goes to Prem and VRM a little bit, but that actually, think of it this way, okay? You know how I often use the example of UPS, right? Not UPS Global, but the store. When I decide I'm going to go to UPS or FedEx or whatever, I decided for one reason. In the vast likelihood is I'm going to send a package somewhere. I have something I need to do, that needs me to ship a package somewhere. And I don't want to spend a ton of time at UPS. I just want to ship the damn package and get rid of it. And if you go to most UPS stores, which if you remember are franchises, they're organized for exactly that. You look at the right side and what do you see? All the supplies that you need, right? You'll see the tape and all those things, which you can buy independently of a shipment, but they're there. Go to a counter, right? You hand them the box. If it's an Amazon thing, you can hand them just the item, and they handle almost everything else from there. And then I'm there, and barring a whole lot of a long line, which right after Christmas there was, I'm in and out of that place in like 2 minutes, 3 minutes at the most. And that's exactly what I want. Why? Because all I was trying to do was send a package. I wasn't trying to love the company. I wasn't trying to get a great discount. I wasn't trying to find 50 other things I needed. And and you know what? If there was information on how that package needed to be sent, I could ask them and they'll tell me. And then it's 4 minutes instead. And they take care of most of that anyway.
Something. You're
No, there's one other side. I'm not done. Wait, let me finish. There's one other side. You take it to the level of global customer service, however, and it's the exact opposite experience there. Exact opposite. It's terrible, right? Their tracking systems are terrible. So half the time you don't know where your package actually is. The people there don't want to get on. They don't want a human on the phone. So they keep trying to put you back to the place on the web that you already were, which is why you tried to contact them personally. And it keeps going on and on like that. And it's over and over again. And I've had, not just me had multiple experiences, so have many, right? So the problem is at UPS, you take it at the local level, you'll find a very quick job to be done, send a package, help me do that job, it's done. At the global level, it's a disaster, which, but to everybody's point, to one degree, nothing is consistent about that. At the same time, it serves this purpose at a local level. So the interesting question is, and this is where it does fall into the customer's hands. Customer has to decide, okay, is my experience going to the local store good enough that I don't care about how bad it is when I have to deal with the global one? Because I don't have to deal with them all the time, but I do have to send packages all the time. And that's up to the person to decide. The reality is it kind of goes to everybody's point at some level. I'm going to be the great compromiser here. So it goes to the point, which is customers do what they do. Okay. Each of us has a task. We try to carry it out. We go to a company to take care of a product, buy a product to do this, we buy a service to do something, and we do it. And we don't love the company the way we love our spouses, and we don't give a crap about how wonderful it is. What we give a crap about is they are there to do what we need them to do. And that's what matters first.
Don't forget engagement.
That's the best engagement, is accomplish what I need to accomplish in the way I want to accomplish it as quickly as possible. The problem, and this goes to kind of Denis's point, is there's no tolerance for anything less than that either. And you're going to get less than that a lot of times, right? So because very few companies have built out the framework that the next gen, so to speak, that Esteban's talking about, could have, which is
come on,
hi. Why you think you have?
No, say come on, Prem. That's a charlatan. That's a soundbite. That's a soundbite, dude. Come on. Get smarter. Get smarter, dude.
Brian is grammatically correct. Who's Brian?
Brian Solis.
Thomas and Finn have a really good convo going on.
I guess so. I'm completely.
They should get a room.
Look, so ultimately, the net here is, there's a lot of to Denis's point, customer entitlement. We all feel that, right? We all are that. And the question, it goes to the heart of things that, companies, and we all know I'm going to bring this up somewhere, like Thunderhead did, right? Which was you kind of knew that. I know, don't cry, Esteban. It's all right. It's all right.
But they were so good.
I know that. So, think about the way they treated it. So this is a Thunderhead way of dealing with both engagement experience and orchestration, right? This is the way I used to describe them, but this goes to the heart of kind of the new model too, which is you have a giant container and it's empty, and a customer walks into the container And when they come in, their shoes are sprayed, or feet or shoes, depending on what they're wearing, are sprayed with one of 16 million colors. And they keep walking, and it's all being tracked in that color. And then comes a second one, a third one, and a 10th one, and a millionth one. And luckily, we have 16 million colors to play with, and we can mess around with the palette. Dennis has taught me a lot about mixing colors lately. So, so what you have is what? The customers, they're not following a predefined path on a journey at all. They're following whatever it is their journey is. And this is showing you the patterns. This is also showing you what each individual customer is doing, because as they walk, some of that paint comes up and they say, oh, what do you know? It's a size 10.5 shoe. It's a Cole Haan. It's brown, blah, blah, blah. Start gathering the data. I mean, in other words, that's where the customer is actually controlling that journey, right? They're controlling completely. And in effect, Thunderhead's technology would acknowledge that and then capture what they need to capture to try and optimize the benefit to both the company and the customer as best as possible. Nothing's perfect. So that's actually the next, in effect, the next gen of it, which is the customer's always going to control that journey, and he always has been. And that you accommodate it to the extent you can and optimize it to the extent you can if you're the company who's intersecting that journey at that given time. And that it's a lot harder than what most companies do, is try to pre-plan the damn journey and then force the customer to meet it.
Yeah, but intercept the journey, and you're. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Denis. I don't
let Denis
want
get
to
in there
monopolize the conversation. So. Yeah,
well,
I know. That's what I said. Just shut up.
Paul, I think you're right. If the journey is pre-planned and that's what the customer wants, that's great. But there are too many instances where the journey is either not planned or the vendor is explicitly using the technology to bounce people off, to basically say, I don't want to deal with you. So in the example of UPS, the thing that nobody talks about is that if you go into their store and you have a thing that you want to ship, and maybe you printed a label at home, but you need a box, you can buy the box, you can buy the tape to put it together, but if you look around, there's no place for you to assemble the box and place your shipping item in the box. Not only that, but if you try to do something like that, the staff will throw you out. It's happened to me before. That's I don't know what do you call that? That's like customer hostility. That's not CX, that's CH.
That's not related to customer experience at all. I mean, that's the problem. It's like we're throwing everything into customer experience, and it's not the way it should be.
Worse. It's actually worse than that. If I could just tell you one other thing. Not long ago, there was an emergency situation where I was, and I had to call the police in a town that was not my town. I couldn't call 911. I had to look up the police department's 7-digit phone number and call them. I got into a death spiral with the call center system. Never got to talk to a human being. Never got to report that there was a broken water main or it was a fire hydrant or something like that. And meanwhile, there's just flooding taking place. I'm not saying that 99% of the vendors in the world that use CRM aren't trying really hard to do a good job, but I am saying, or another thing I'm saying is that we've created tools that create monsters.
But it doesn't matter what good of a job I'm doing. My job is to create the best infrastructure so my customers can make all the systems and data available. So either themselves or the customers can actually respond to anything.
Yeah, it's like somebody created Facebook, and now our elections are getting clobbered by Facebook. Nobody intended.
I'm not taking debate. I'm not going away from CX, dude.
Nobody expected their platforms to be used for nefarious purposes, but they are. And we, as a culture, there's a CRM culture that should be doing something about that.
I have no control of how people use my technology, but I damn well create the best possible technology so that if they're going to use it the right way, delivers the best solution possible.
Well, I would suggest to you that maybe you should focus on best practices for a while.
But we do that. But that's not the point. The point is like, I mean, at a high level, we're talking about CX. We gotta be talking in ethereal terms. We cannot be talking in specifics.
Hey, no Bitcoin, no Ethereum, no
ethereal.
crypto.
There's words that existed before crypto, dude. That was a good catch. Thank you. I appreciated that. Now you stopped me too. I had no idea what I was gonna say. So, Brent, back to you in studios.
My work is done here.
Boy, that was going so well. All right, let me.
No, the point I was making seriously is like CX is a high level conversation. It's not a detailed conversation. Right. It's not like the customer wants this. It's not like somebody was rude. It's not like it takes too long, or like I have to look at the 7-digit number. CX is a high level conversation. That's all that it can be at this point. If you make it more than that by extending it to what service should be, or marketing should be, or customer expectation should be, you're on the wrong side of the conversation.
Well, I see it, customer experience as the umbrella, right? It's me. Customer experience is the totality of all of the interactions consumer has with the brand. That's their experience with the brand. So it's everything.
Yeah, Paul wrote that 20 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. So right. So that's what it is to me. So under that umbrella is. But it's not.
But I can't go with that. That's too simplistic. I need something more complex to serve business to the value on the customer. That's too. You missed
the key phrase that she had on that for her.
I get it. For you. Well, and that's what I said. For me, that's too simplistic. I need something bigger than that. If I'm going to be stuck there, I'm going to be building software that works only one way, and that's not right.
Well. All right, but so I'm using customer experience as an umbrella. Underneath that umbrella, there's individual spokes that you need to take care of, and then hopefully they all come together at that point in the center. But there needs to be.
I agree with the concept, but I think that it's too. I agree with the concept that there's many different things that need to happen for an experience to happen, right? It's an umbrella level. I completely agree with that. Customer experience is the culmination of everything. But then let's not focus on customer experience. Let's focus on the little pieces underneath and do them right, and customer experience happens.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's like the conversation we've had before on surprising and delighting, and you can't surprise and delight until you get the basics right, or the basics right.
I'm not going there. Don't worry, Brent.
Thank you. I was just going to say tired. I got to go now. Paul's going to go in like a 20-minute rant.
I got a whole other thing. Look, the other thing with experience, a lot of people, I think there's a lot of still terminological confusion over it or with it. Meaning there were and Esteban, you actually raised sort of the differentiator when you were talking about that trip to Machu Picchu, I think it was, earlier on. So here's the thing. If you go all the way back to Joe Pine, who I absolutely love as a person and actually like his books too. He's also, by the way, a gigantic Yankees fan, just so you know.
Of course, wondering that.
Joe.
How else would you know about him?
Well, he and I have become good friends over the years, let's just say. And so every year we have at least one we're upset about the Yankees for something. Anyway, if you actually go back to the experience economy and you look at the updated versions of the book and so on, you realize most of what he's trying to talk about are exactly what Esteban was talking about when he said Machu Picchu, which are, I call them consumable experiences, meaning they're created, right? And they're created for typically monetary purposes, right? I mean, you're going to buy the experiences. I always use that example, which I need to replace since I've been using it for about 15 years. The American Girl stores, which I
was waiting for that to come up.
No, I'm not going to repeat the details.
It's okay. I still have an example that talks about when I was coding COBOL, so you're fine.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. It's like it's probably time to shift the example, but it's so easy to talk about, right? So, but those are consumable. And the interesting thing is, some of the tech companies are building capabilities to actually create experiences. Now to the point that when so that there's that one, and then my definition, which I'd probably been using for about 12, but I'm going to keep, is for the bigger one is how a customer feels about a company over time. And that's the simplest, but at the same time, I think reflective of what the customer experience is. Now, it is more complex than that as far as what happens to make that customer feel that way, but ultimately is it that. Then the other side of it is that you're starting to see a shift, which has actually impacted those subsets that you were mentioning, Ginger, when you talk about marketing and things under the umbrella, which is, if we actually believe this, and I do, is that we are getting to the point where campaigns, traditional like marketing campaigns and things like that, because of the customer's conversational control, are going away as far as their effectiveness. They're not gone by a long shot because there's too many traditional marketers out there still, right? And then they're not going to necessarily change now. Now, will they go away completely ever? No. But we're starting to see things which are being, let's call more conversations than campaigns. Meaning, and that just really means that marketers are having a much more direct impact on singular customers in effect, than they ever have had, and they have to design accordingly, right? So those things, I mean, you're seeing just all kinds of shifts going on that one way or the other are impacting that overarching customer experience. But on the other hand, you're also seeing a more effective set of tools being designed for marketers and others that are helping to create experiences that are monetizable and that are being treated as consumable experiences time and time again.
That's completely different conversation. It's a great distinction, but it's a completely different conversation from what we're talking about, I think.
Okay, if you think so.
Well,
All right.
That's why Brent told me to say I think, so so you can have your opinion.
I know.
I tell you you're wrong.
Therefore, you
whatever.
I got it.
You're wrong, but that's not the point.
So Esteban has to roll at the top of the hour. So when I ask each of you, starting with Esteban, what's going to be the most significant thing that happened this year in this space? Good, bad, ugly? Which one?
Well,
what is it?
So two things. Number one, people will realize that I was right 20 years ago, and they start implementing the crap that I wrote about 20 years ago. But more important than that, Thunderhead. People will realize that the whole idea of like static experiences and like marketing is responsible and service is responsible and services experience and marketing experience, it's a whole load of bullcrap. And then move on to produce good infrastructures on the brand side and good expectations on the customer side and find the medium of the pendulum,
You have so much to say, man.
Oh.
There it is.
I can barely see it, but...
When is this coming public? Tell us real quickly what your podcast is.
I'm working on all these pieces. It takes a little bit longer to coordinate from inside a corporation than outside a corporation. So I'm having good discussions with my lawyers. And
have they put the disclaimer together yet, or
the whole site is a freaking disclaimer, dude? Are you kidding me? Actually, the title of the blog is so much to say. These are my own ideas, not related to my employer.
Coming to
anyways, working on it. I know that I told you this the last couple of weeks, but working on like the next few days, it needs to be out. I have to finish putting some of the old content together, but then after that, I have a whole slew of content that is going to show up very, very quickly.
Cool.
So I'm gonna have to drop. I do apologize, but you can go ahead and destroy everything that I said and my persona, my image, and everything in the next few minutes. I'll be happy to read afterwards what you guys said about me. No problem. But thanks very much for having me, and I do apologize for leaving early. So
it's good to see you, buddy.
Good to
see everybody. See you guys.
Okay, Denis, what's the biggest thing this year that's going to happen? Good, bad, ugly, WTF?
Well, since I don't have a perfect crystal ball, and I'll probably be wrong, rather than telling you what I think will happen, I'll tell you what I would like to see happen.
Okay.
I think we've been whipsawed over the last 2 or 3 years by a whole passel of events, and I think it would be smart. I don't know. It shouldn't take the whole year, but I think it would be smart for people to take a deep breath and reevaluate their goals and objectives relative to CRM and CX, and compare that especially to the way the world is now. In 2019, we had a structure we're all very familiar with people going to work in tall buildings and all the rest that goes with it. We started working from home. We did a lot of that. Everybody keeps pining for the day when we go back to the office, especially CFOs who are looking at major rental bills for square footage that's going unused. And so we need to ask some fundamental questions about how we work, what we do, and again, who's the customer, and how do we best serve the customer in this new world?
Ginger?
Well, aside from hopefully the Mets delivering a stellar customer experience by, playoff series, something. Yeah, I'll second a lot of what Denis said in terms of, obviously there's been a lot of shifts, and there's, I think, a lot of assumptions of what people want in terms of their work environment and their interactions as customer. And I think that companies need to really look at their strategies and do some, customer surveying, employee surveying, and make some smart decisions based on what their constituents really want that also works for them, versus just saying, oh, well, I think they want this thing, so we'll just do it. Or this works best for our budget, so good luck, everyone.
If I could just add one thing, I just published a piece on what's being called the Great Retirement. We've thought about the Great Resignation, but there's a paper from the St. Louis Federal Reserve that shows that people between 65 and 74 who have not been who have been in the workforce are abandoning work in record numbers, well above what you would expect demographically from them. Those people are predominantly educated, undereducated. I'm sorry, or less educated, and that means that we're building an excess population of people who might be more consumer oriented, perhaps, but what do they want, and how do we deliver?
Good question.
Yeah, very deep.
Federal Reserve's got a bunch of cool stuff if you're geeky.
St. Louis, I got it.
St. Louis, they used to have the Rams.
Well,
you got to look at Bob's comment.
I prefer not, but that
Bob.
Bob, I got to tell you, my heart really goes out to you and went out to you Sunday evening for losing what may have been the best game I have ever seen in my entire life.
I'm right with you on that one.
Oh my God, that was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But it was literally one of the greatest games I've ever seen in my entire life. Unbelievable.
And it ruined my prediction for the beginning of the year.
That's right.
The Rams playing the Bills in the Super Bowl.
Well, hopefully you're half right. And in your case, the right half.
No comment.
I know. I know.
Oh,
yeah.
Wait a minute. I know this must be the other Bob.
It is.
Moving on. Wow. I'm so glad that we can continue bringing CRM/CX/customer engagement/whatever to its knees for another year. Thanks to Denis Pombriant, who you can also see tomorrow, 1:30 East Coast time, featured on the Gilmore Gang.
See, the lights are flickering. We did such a good job.
I thought that was like some form of sustainability that you're helping us out with.
Right.
It's just an on-off switch, but it's my prank.
And
it's wonderful to see Ginger.
Usually when she's on with us, we let her do her usual sign-off. But since she's on as a horseman and not as a alumnus of the Player in Residency program, we'll just say thanks to Ginger for joining us.
But the question though is it one and the same, or is it two different things? Is customer experience the umbrella, or is it the individual experiences? These are thoughts to ponder.
Wow.
It is a dessert topping or a floor wax.
Ginger, leaving us at the Ponderosa, or whatever you said.
With the Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, there it is.
Wow. Marx Brothers references. Okay.
Believe me.
In
Fire
Alabama,
sign,
the Tuscaloosa.
Marx Brothers, you know.
In Alabama, the Tuscaloosa. That was the Tuscaloosa. That's the Mark Groucho line.
Okay. And so, on behalf of the Horsemen, I'm Brent Leary.
I'm Paul Greenberg.
We are the CRM Playaz, and I'll be watching football probably in my own little dark room on Sunday, excuse me.
Me too.
I may be back depending on how that goes. We'll see.
You know,